What are we here for? What do you truly want? When change is not enough, what do you do? What are we here for? What do you truly want? When change is not enough, what do you do? Let's talk about it, the problems we face. Let's fight hatred, no time to waste. The mind is naked, we can see it without an X-ray. Life is easy if we work together. We're the keepers, we're the people, we're all equal, filled with purpose. The past has pain, it'll drive you, even make you take aim. But together is where we should aim. Together is where we should. What are we here for? What do you truly want? When change is not enough, what do you do?
Welcome back to the Be Forever Cool podcast. My name is Rex Fortyfive. We're gonna have some fun tonight, talking about MotoGP, a little bit of World Superbike. This is the first round coming up. It's in Thailand. I'm excited. It's been a long off season. I've been watching a lot of old MotoGP races from 2002. I got to 2015. There's a couple of rounds in there that I skipped, but it was good to catch up on a lot of that old MotoGP races, because you see a lot of faces in the paddock today. You know, you might get a little blurb of who this rider was in MotoGP in the past, but you don't know how well they ride or what their skill level was like. But going back and watching and seeing Biaggi and some of these other guys, Checa, even Colin Edwards and some of these guys, man, it was good to see, and I was excited. And, you know, we brought that on the Be Forever Cool podcast, and we chopped it up, and a lot of people was feeling it. So it was pretty good. So we did keep you guys entertained. And now that the season is back, we're going to even have more to talk about. We have a cool year with a lot of things planned. We got some riders to talk about in Motor America to come. So it's exciting. But, you know, let me not get ahead of myself. Let me bring the guys in and see what they've been up to. Jordan, man, welcome to the show. How you doing tonight, man?
What's going on? Loving life, brother. Loving life. Back on two wheels, baby.
Nice, man. I mean, you know, the weather's a little bit wild, but it's nice to know when you can look in the garage and you know you're going to get on that bike this year.
Exactly. And I did get a chance to test some Aprilias just the other day.
Okay, man.
Touch on some VR4s and some other tasty morsels I'm not going to go into right about now, but yeah.
All right, that's what's up, man. You're excited for MotoGP to be back, man?
Absolutely. I cannot wait for MotoGP to come back and see who's going to defend or get kicked off of their podium that, you know, come up and coming season. So yeah, I can't wait for the rookies that are really new to MotoGP to see where they kind of latch in, see if they're going to become an instant alien or they're going to be a washout, which I'm thinking is going to be more of the precursor, not the latter.
Well, there's only two rookies, and you know there's a little bit of an age gap difference. And I mean, you know, it's one of those things where it's going to be hard because Diego, I don't think he sees himself any less than Top Rock. So it's going to be interesting.
That's gonna quickly be a, I guess you want to call it a reality check. Real soon. So yeah.
All right, man. Hang tight. Tyson, man, welcome to the show, man. I really appreciate you coming on tonight, man. How you doing? You ready for MotoGP?
How's it going, Rexy? I'm doing good. Looking forward to all this snow to melt and MotoGP as well. It'll be fun this weekend.
Exactly, man. I heard today a little bit of the snow melt. I'm gonna be up that way tomorrow, and I'm not looking forward to snow.
I mean, a little bit melted, that's for sure, but there's plenty left still.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, have you decided to get into the ice riding or anything like that, so that way you can get out in the wintertime on the two wheels?
Winter sports are tough because everything going on. The winters are very unreliable these days. So it's like a snowmobile, like they're great in principle, but then you drop 20 grand on them and you only had one snowy day that year. And it's like, can feel like a waste. So that's stuff I usually try to stay away from. Like I play hockey for winter sports and I ski from time to time, but that's my winter stuff.
Okay. At least you're getting out. Yeah, I hear you. It's funny. I was thinking about that today, because I want to get like a mini bike or something like that. And I'm just like, wow, how much time am I going to spend on this thing before I get all the sounds and whistles?
Wait, well, it's nice, a little mini bike. You're in Florida, so perfect little like off-season track thing to rip around. Well, it's like I need an indoor place up here, and New England's just so sparsely populated that we just don't even have a density and a drive and a market for something like that to be sustainable. So
no, I know about that life for sure. But let's enough about that. Let's talk about MotoGP, guys. Marquez was the winner. He's a defending champion. He got hurt at the end of last season. I think he missed the last 2 rounds or 3 to 4 rounds, give or take, from that injury. I assume it was more at this point. He already won the championship, so nothing to prove. Maybe I could go out there and try to win one more race or something to that effect, but nothing crazy. But what do you guys are looking to see from Ducati in general? Is it a foregone conclusion that Marquez is just going to be number 1 and everyone else is just going to be fighting for number 2?
I'm totally walking away. I'm just going to be walking away. There's too many people that's been trying to grab that number 1 plate. And even though Marquez had a small little injury at the end of the season, like I said, he got the championship. He was pretty much done. So he didn't really have to do too much. Like Valentino won it a couple years before, like 4 rounds before the end of the season. And he just could have been like, whatever. I'm going to go home and, throw back some martinis. But, that's part of our culture is to, even if you win the championship, I'm still going to show up. I'm still going to show people why I won the championship. I'm still going to promote my sponsors and stuff like that. That's the business background of it. But the racer side of it is kind of like, I'm a champion. This is the reason why I'm a champion. And I'm going to still continue racing and pushing my efforts as to the full extent of my capabilities, even after the championship is done. So I think it's going to be a good fight, but I think it's just not going to be a Marquez show. It's just not going to be a Marquez show. Let me say that. Alex Marquez is going to be up there. He's going to be up there fighting. If Marquez doesn't slow down and give him the race like he did before. Sorry, did I say that out loud? My bad.
What you talking about?
I think there's going to be a whole bunch more people involved than just Marquez going out 4 or 5 seconds out, and then he just clinching the title. It's going to be more than that.
I don't know if Marquez gave him the race. I think he gave him a few laps.
Twice. Hot tire. Remember, you had the hot tire. Oh, let me slow down, get this tire uninflated, and then he gave him a couple of laps, but then he walked away in the last 2 laps. Kind of like, okay, Alex, you're too slow. Boom, go.
Yeah. He's definitely Lucy with the football there, dangling that carrot in front of his brother like that, and then taking it away at the last minute. Jordan Tyson, man, what are your thoughts on the season? You heard Jordan talk about Marquez and these other guys are going to be fighting. I think it's going to be closer personally. But what are your thoughts, man?
I would say it's probably fairly certain that Marquez will win the championship again, but I think it will be certainly closer than it was last year. The Aprilia bikes have taken a step forward. They were already fairly close. Like there's a fair few races last year where I was probably the Aprilia is the better bike. Mark is just a better rider on a equivalent bike. You know what I mean? or like within the same ballpark bike. So
Aprilia is like the Fast and Furious, the first one. I almost had you. If Aprilia had more circuits to go to, they would have caught Ducati for sure.
Oh my god! I was like, what is? Doesn't he say that to Dom, and Dom says something else? Oh, I can't remember. It's been so long since.
Yeah, I think it was like you almost had what or something like that. Yeah. You had nothing, something like that.
You double clutching, granny shifting.
Yeah. But yeah, no, seriously though, I do think that I agree with you. I do think that Aprilia has a really good shot. I hope Martin falls in line. I think I like if Martin can be what Bagnaia and Bastianini were when they're together on Ducati, how they work together. If Bez and Martin can do that this year, I think Martin could be that thing to put enough Ducatis between the Aprilias. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but is he going to just do that though? You know, like can his ego handle that?
Man, that's the thing. I don't know. I don't
think so, but I'm also not him. So
yeah. What are your thoughts, Jordan, on that? Can his ego handle that? You think that Martin? I mean, and we hear these rumors that he's leaving to go somewhere else next year, which I think is really odd. Because I gotta assume Aprilia wants him gone. I have to assume that because like the second best bike on the grid is Aprilia. So if you're not going back to Ducati, you'd want to stay with Aprilia.
I agree. I don't know. Like I said, I wish I knew Bezzecchi and all these, top tier riders, like I know the Motor America riders here in the U.S. I wish I was able to call them up and just ask them those very few questions and kind of get a general idea of, hey, what would happen if, like I said, I can call up a couple other guys and be like, hey, let me ask you a question. What happens if this were to happen? As a rider, as a racer, you and I know that, with being an MC, you in your mind is like, there's no one better than me. Mm-hmm. Unless you prove it to me on the track or whatever stage you're on, show me your best move, your best competition, your best whatever. And then I won't say bow down, but I will at least admit this person may be a little bit better than me. But for him to really bow down and be like, hey, I'm just going to give you the win or something like that, I don't think it's going to be in his nature to do that. And Moses said, the Aprilia has top-notch, at least top speed and corner speed. So it's just kind of like, all you got to do is get a rider who's willing and knowing to put laps together, not just one flying lap, not just 2 laps, put the whole race together so that bike can really shine.
Right. No, I agree. I wasn't saying like have to give up anything. I think more just sharing data and working together. Once the lights go out, it is what it is. But you know what I mean? Because that's the only way that I think Aprilia is going to do better. I mean, I do think that what are the Trackhouse guys, Ayaguru and Raul. I do think those guys are going to be finishing top 8. I mean, I think Ayaguru will probably finish top 10 because he was like really the first one to figure out that Aprilia last year, even before Bez. And once he broke his leg, I think at Silverstone, not Silverstone, I forget where he broke his leg initially. That's when he kind of struggled throughout the rest of the season. And Raul came to his own at the end of the season. I forget, right? He did win a race, right? He did win a race. So, I mean, I think everyone except for Martin is ready, and I think those guys have a really good shot. There's only 6 Ducatis now, I mean, for the last few years now. So, I mean, I think that's also exciting. Let's move over to Honda and Luca and Mir and what those guys are doing, because I think even Zarco, this is, I would say Honda is the 3rd best team on the grid, and I think they got a shot. So what are you guys thinking about what Honda, what do you think they can do this season? We'll start with Tyson.
I think they'll definitely improve from their performance last season, for sure. That seems to be their trajectory. I don't know if I'd necessarily put them at like a firm number 3, but like, weekend to weekend, I can see them at 3. I can see them trading with KTM here and there. But I certainly think they're probably on the best other than Aprilia, they're on, the best trajectory for their program. It seems like everybody else is taking steps back. Ducati, KTM, Yamaha, but Aprilia and Honda seem to be, progressing. They're making iterative steps one at a time, and slowly those build up, and you got yourself an impressive bike. I'd like to see Mir stay on the bike more. I feel like they can get some solid points if he stays on the bike.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a bad rider. I just think he's, like a lot of riders fall into that trap of like, win it or bin it, and you're just on a terrible bike, and you just start focusing on, at this point, just do whatever I can, and then ends up in him binning it. But I think as it gets better, more consistent, he'll stay on the bike more.
Yeah, I hope so, and he did towards the end of last year. Jordan, man, what are your thoughts on Honda? Smitty's not here to tell us how great, because he's a diehard Honda guy, true, and I do feel like these guys they're gonna get on a podium.
God bless Rex. Love him very much. Even if Honda was, God, Smitty, my bad. I love everybody. Smitty would definitely say that they're making improvements, and I'm not denying that they are making improvements. They needed to make improvements years ago, and it just takes some time for development. Even with the test riders that they have, they're making adjustments as they go along. I think they got not say the best two riders on there. Luca Marini has definitely making some headway, some steps. And Joan Mir, he's a championship winner. So, it's just kind of like, if you kind of put those, not say those eggs in the basket, but you put them together, and then, hopefully Honda, I don't know if they had the designers walk away or something like that, but for the past couple of years, it's like they've been really stagnant, and I don't know why, but they've been having some feedback on saying, hey, we need to improve this, we need to improve that, change this, change that. And I don't know why they're not kind of going to where their riders are telling them to go to. Yeah. So with the process they're making right about now, hopefully they're not, like you said, winning or binning, like Tyson said. Hopefully not doing that too much. But hopefully they do a little bit more competitiveness. Maybe not winning or binning, but just be competitive. Stay on the bike, less mechanicals, and then can finish off more races than when you did last year.
But shouldn't these guys get a little bit more respect for their name, Luca and Mir? They're on a bad bike, right? These guys in their own right. When Mir was on a Suzuki, he was nice. When Luca was on the Ducati DVR 46, he was nice. He got on the podium. It's not like, when you say better guys, who are the better guys if not Marquez? You may say Acosta, but Acosta is yet to win the MotoGP race, so you can't really. On paper, he may be better, but who are better than these two guys?
And that's what I'm saying. It's just like, that's what I said. It's like, I don't want to say they need to get better riders, but they do have people in that seat right now that should be getting them, maybe not podiums every single time, but definitely top 10, top 12. And they're really lagging in that. Even when they do get good starts, they start falling behind mid-race. And then they're down in 15, 16, 17. It's kind of like, I don't get it. So I don't know what they're doing or what they need to do to stay up front.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Tyson, on Luca and Mir? Are they better riders in MotoGP that should be in those seats? That's going to give Honda a better result. I know, Jordan said, they fell back, but that was in the beginning. Luca was starting to do well after his accident at Suzuka, coming back from that. And Mir last year at the end of the year was also, he got on the podium, I think, a couple of times as well. So, so they are pointing in the right direction, which is moving forward up the grid, not falling back like they were doing. What are your thoughts? Do you think, because I hate it a lot with Luca and Mir saying, let's get some other guys on the Honda, as if to say, if there's a bunch of Marc Marquez's waiting to jump on that Honda.
Just waiting in the wings, just to jump on the bike. They're clearly good riders. As you said, Joan Mir is a world champion, but, people's, especially in racing, your reputation is only as good as your last race.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Honda has been dogging their names with a trash bike. like if all of them are performing relatively the same, I mean, sure, Mir crashes a little bit more, but like none of the other Hondas were really doing anything crazy better than he was. Sure, they were finishing and getting points occasionally, but like at that point, it's the bike. Like the team needs to do a better job of giving them better equipment and a better package for every weekend. Like their job there is to ride it. Obviously, they give feedback, that kind of jazz, but like they're not getting what they need to do better. And they clearly, as the end of last year shows, they can clearly get podiums. They are good riders, so there's something wrong with this motorcycle. Well, maybe not so much anymore. As we said, they are making progress here. They're one step after the other. They're getting better and better and better. But that is probably what has happened. And then, their names have just got dragged through the mud because, you're on bad equipment and, people just see you doing poorly and they don't care that, they don't see what's behind the screens where all these issues are coming up. They're trying to work through things and, nothing's working and every single weekend you're crashing and that kind of, that's not helping you either, so not I think mentally. They are. I'm sorry, what?
I said not mentally.
No, that wouldn't help me. I would struggle. Yeah. It's a long season. What is it? March to November at this point, late October. That's a long season of international travel, racing. Like it's a lot. So I think they're good riders. I think they just need to give them a better package and they'll start getting those podiums and those race wins.
No,
Zarco got to win.
It's actually February, right? Because the first round is actually, I guess it's March. They have it as the first one is February. So yeah, it's February to November 22nd. So
it's wild.
Yeah,
that's so long. I mean, I like that the winters are shorter. That's amazing, but at the same time, like it's a lot for these guys.
Yeah, no doubt. I completely agree. And before we move off of Honda, let's talk about Zarco and his teammate Diego. He's a rookie. Zarco, won a race, got on the podium another race. For some reason or another, they stopped giving them. This I don't understand. Like if you give everybody the good parts. I mean, unless there's a rule that we can only have two, and all four you got to fight for 2 pieces of chicken. You know what I'm saying? It's like give everybody the parts. I don't understand. Like, okay, you got to be top 5 to get these parts. It's like, how am I gonna get to top 5 and get these parts?
And that's the whole fun. And we laugh about it, but like, it's literally the truth. It's just like, how are you going to limit what you give to the riders and then expect them to get the results without the parts?
Yeah. And isn't it sabotage because Zarco was the first one that was doing well last year and the year before that, on the Honda. And it's kind of like, did you sabotage Zarco? Or did you just say, hey, these work, so all right, we gotta take this off your parts, dude, because we know it works, and give it to these other guys and stuff like that, man. I mean, I think I don't know the extent of the rule, but I mean, what are your thoughts, Tyson? Should these guys get all the same parts so we can see who can be up front?
I would love if everybody had the same parts, the same bike. That would be amazing. We could live in a utopia where everyone gets a Lamborghini and we all have yachts and no one works and pigs are flying around, but it's just not the world we live in, No, I'm assuming it has something to do with LCR's contract. Would be my guess that because from what I heard, like especially I think this year they're like more of like a full team, but like last year they were more of just kind of like a name slapped on an extra Honda, which was what I gathered. I'm not sure if that's 100% correct or not, but from like an engineering and sort of just like a science standpoint of like trying to do better, their thought process may be we have 2 prototype bikes here on the Honda factory team. This is where we are going to be making our improvements to improve our package, our program kind of deal. And it could be useful to have a control, which is the bike we started out with the beginning of the year. We know Zarco is going to be good on it. He's got a lot of experience. He'll get every piece of performance out of there that he can get. And then we're going to keep making changes to our bike to see if we can get better. And then we can see like, okay, here's Zarco on this old bike. Now we've done all these updates. Great. Now it's faster. They're on the bike more, and okay, now we've done that. So let's make those parts and give them to Zarco now, that kind of deal. So that may be another reason why he is not getting all of the parts. I doubt it is actually sabotage. I'm sure they would love for him to be on a factory bike and, doing the exact same thing.
I hope so, because you mentioned all being on the same machine. I mean, they did it in Moto E, and that really showed you who are the strong riders. Even though that series is no longer around, we do see it in the WCR in the women's series on the R7s, and we see like the fast people are up front, and you can't blame the machine because they're all the same bikes. So there's something to that to really. If the playing field was the same, we would actually know who the better riders are. And, I guess, it might come down to the engineers and the mechanics and who can, configure the bike to the riders liking the best. But at the end, I know we're not going to see that in the real world. There may be a couple of series where everybody may be on the same bike, but for the most part, there's just too many manufacturers that need to race on Sunday so they can sell on Monday.
Seriously.
But they sell on Tuesday. Dealerships close on Monday. What are you talking about?
That's bullshit. I hated they're closed on Sunday and Monday. That's when I need parts. That's when I need them.
You win on Sunday, sell on Tuesday.
Exactly. Let's talk about KTM. I mean, and we haven't even talked about the rumors of people leaving yet, but we'll leave that to the end, to the rumors section, because they're just rumors. We're looking at Ducati 1, Aprilia 2, Honda 3 is safe to say, maybe KTM 3. We can put them equal at 3, even if we'd like, or 3 point, whatever. What does KTM have to do this year with they got a rider that's ready to go. They got the only rider that seems to love the program and drinking the Kool-Aid is Vinales at the moment. Brad is just, Brad is like the bigger guy trying to hide behind a skinny tree. Hopefully nobody noticed him, because I love Brad, but like he's gotten a pass this whole time in MotoGP. Remy Gardner did not get that same pass. Ika Luka Ono did not get that same pass. What are your thoughts on KTM and the financial woes that they had to go through last year, and maybe still restructuring from that this year? What are your thoughts on KTM and what they should bring and what they can do with all that chaos and craziness that's happening? Let's start with Jordan.
I think they've got, both the teams have at least one rider on each team that can really, I would say, shake up the championship, or if not, bring a spark and a shot to the team. Pedro Acosta, he's not a rookie anymore, and he's got loads and loads of talent as well as skill that he's brought out, and he showed people that, yes, I may not be able to, surpass Marc Marquez, but I can definitely show a wheel every now and again, or if not, definitely be able to get on the podium. So I think that's definitely worth talking about. And then Bastianini, we talked about him before. Just like, get him on any type of road where he gets a breath at something, and, he may be off to the races. But it all comes down to, I think, setup with him. Vinales, I don't know if we talked about this enough, that once he got his bad reputation from Yamaha, then it's kind of like he doesn't really have too many seats left to kind of jump back and forth on before he's pretty much out the door.
Come on, man. Vinales got the motorcycle whisperer with him. He got Lorenzo all as well.
But we talked about that. He needed to have him with him to keep his edge at the limit, so that it'd be like, listen, you may not like me, but I can do this. Other than that, he probably would have been gone already. But like I said, KTM gave him a pass. Mm-hmm. And now he's really trying to keep that seat, even though he hasn't been, his best
healthy. Healthy. He won last year.
Not just being healthy. Besides being healthy, his
took away from him. Wasn't it Coda he won? Was it Coda? Is that right? And they took it away from him? Oh, no, I was on the Aprilia. Never mind. That was on the Aprilia.
See, I'm saying his top one with the KTM with the past 2 years has been like 10, 11.
No, I think there was like a second place or something they took away from him. I think he got penalized last year.
For some nonsense. But my point is, he keeps on not really keeping his name in good standing. Oh, okay. And if you only got, so many bikes, so many owners, so many teams,
Jordan, man, come on, man. We got peace and love, man. I mean, listen, Michael recap. Come on, man. Come on, man. The man gave money to KTM when they were suffering and bought into the company. Come on, he showed them how to.
He had to. Please give me a seat.
I had to keep his seat. Yeah, exactly.
I will pay for my seat here. Take this money. But like I said, he's still a good racer. From what I understand, he's not giving a whole bunch of good feedback to say, hey, let's fix this, let's fix that. He's just complaining about, I need more power.
No, I disagree with you there because I think he was the quickest rider. He was the quickest rider last year until he hurt his shoulder, and Acosta started having the same setup as Vinales last year, and then Acosta started being the number one guy. What do you thought? You had a lot there, Tyson. What do you want to talk about?
Oh man, I mean, as like a team, I think this year's probably a wash for KTM. Would be my guess, especially given the financial troubles and the changing of the regs next year. My guess is they're like, we're going to put just enough money to get this team across the finish line in November, and then put the rest of it into the 2027 bike. I don't expect much out of them this year. And I'm with you, Jordan. Like, I don't know how Binder's gotten a pass. Like, he had one good wet race in Austria, and he has been riding that success. What is that, 3-4 years ago? It was 21 or 22, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a while ago. And like, he's been riding that, and just like, I think because no one notices him in 15th place most of the time. And so no one talks about him. And we all just forget that he's on the KTM, and Pedro is, fighting for 3rd and 4th place constantly and doing what he can. I think of the generational talents on the grid right now, it's probably Marquez, Quartararo, and Acosta. And if Acosta can't get a win out of that bike, I don't see anybody else getting a win out of that bike. Unless a meteor hits the other 16 bikes.
Come on, man.
You know what I mean?
Vinales and Lorenzo,
some freak accident, like
right there. Vinales and Lorenzo.
Lorenzo can only go so far. He ain't behind the wheel anymore. He's only coaching from the sideline.
Come on,
Lorenzo's about to get behind the wheel again.
He got his sweater on. He got his scarf on. He got his cappuccino. Come on, man. Let's do these circle drills. Let's go.
He's adorable, but yeah, I don't expect much out of them, frankly.
Okay, no, it's this racing business, it's not for the faint of heart. So
it certainly is fickle,
and it's the ones who take the risk. I appreciate what KTM's done. I got a few KTMs. I mean, I like what they've done. Ducati's been there with the finances. I don't think Honda's been there. They've been pretty good about managing their money. I think Yamaha's been pretty good about managing their money. But everyone else has gone through financial troubles. Saying they all have had.
Bikes are tough, man.
Yeah,
they're a luxury. It's not a car.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, the fact that they're staying in MotoGP is a plus, and I hope they do stay. And it'll be it'll be tough. I think for any person that competes at any level, that if you have a machine that you got so close to tasting it, right? I mean, they're like the Indiana Pacers. They're just so close and can't get over the hump because.
Is that your team, Jordan?
That's not my team.
But you know what I mean? It's one of those teams that, they just and I know they will, right? Because we don't get to write history. They do. You know what I mean? But it's if you give up, you never really know if you get over the hump. So I do hope that KTM stays with it and they figure it out and continue moving because we need it in the series. But yeah, it's gonna be tricky. I mean, I think they still could be a number 3. I think it could be a number 3 bike. I won't know. We won't know until the first round or second round. But I think that Acosta and I think Vinales, these two guys, I think they're going to be top 6. I think they're going to be fighting. I think if Acosta can stay on the bike, he's going to be top 4, top 3 in that area. Because that's how he was last year until he crashed. So
he's going to be up there.
Who?
You don't think Bastianini's going to be up there?
I think if Bastianini figures out that bike, I think he will. And he's been a late pace guy on the Ducati, and there's times on the KTM last year he was coming through the grid, and but the same thing. I think he crash out, right, or he'll make a mistake enough that at that point you just got to conserve.
Yeah, I know. He did a couple of top 5, 7, something like that.
Yeah.
And then another time he was crashing out. It was kind of like I said, winning a Bennett.
Yeah, so and I'm a fan of Bastianini as well. I think he should have kept his factory seat, but anyway, up at Ducati. But that's history now. But I am a fan. I'm a fan of him. I think that the fact that Vinales figured out the KTM last year quicker than he did, he kind of made it seem like, 1 year on the bike should be enough to figure it out. But we know it's not. Look at Raul. Look at some of these other guys that's taken them a few years to figure out bikes. And so I hope he gets the time with KTM to figure out the bike, but it's fickle. KTM is fickle. They cut people, you're like, damn, 1 year. That's it. You saw enough. So it's interesting.
They have
but let's
Red Bull contracts.
yeah, exactly. But let's talk about Yamaha. We got Toprak on the V4. It sounds like Quartararo is not happy on the V4. It sounds like Renz is cool. It sounds like Miller is just kind of like, I know what it's like to build a bike. He was on the Honda when he first came in, and that was building when he was on the satellite teams. He was on the early Ducatis when they were figuring it out in 2015, 16, I think 17. And before he got the factory seat as well with alongside Pecco and stuff like that. So, I mean, I think for Miller, he's just kind of like, all right, we're working. Where should these other guys be at Quartararo? Because, he wants to leave because he's not getting what he's want. But I was talking to some of the guys the other day. Where could he go? The only place he can go is Honda. And, Honda, we're saying is third place. And, at best, and as far as the manufacturer is not necessarily third place overall in the championship. What are your thoughts on Yamaha? Is it just continue to rebuild? Keep the chemistry up in the paddocks while we can, or is it like let's clean shop and who wants to stay, and other people that don't feel we're going to be competitive again, get rid of them? What are your thoughts on where Yamaha is? We'll start with Jordan.
Good question about should they ultimately just clean house or just keep what they got. I'm inclined to say that they should really kind of keep things together, kind of know where everyone's head is at. Quartararo not really happy because the past 2 years he's playing not just second fiddle, but he's kind of playing catch up with Ducati and Marquez. And just kind of like, I need this, need that. On top of the couple of the mishaps that he had, which really, really broke Yamaha's heart, broke a lot of Yamaha fans' heart, including myself. I wish I had my Yamaha shirt on. Right when that ride height device failed, I started crying, dude. I was in tears.
Yeah, that was tough to watch.
Yeah, that was tough because he had a really solid race, really got solid lead, but he ultimately said, that's racing, and kind of I think it was a little bit more than that behind the scenes. He's probably pissed, but with the Primac Yamaha team, they just seemed like with Miller and Toprak, I don't know, maybe it's just me. They just seem like it's playtime. They're joking around and playing around and wheelies and stoppies and jokes and blah blah blah. It's kind of like I want to see these guys really get to business and really show. Okay, you ready to win a championship? You ready to get down to business and make this stuff happen? I mean, yeah, it's good you have a little bit of hype behind you, but when it comes down to when that or I'm about to say the flag drops. Sorry for regular road racers. When that red light goes out, it's serious game after that. So what you gonna do when that happens? So I don't know what they need to do to kind of focus on game time when it is game time. Because I only got a few more sessions left to really see, and their practice time on the time wasn't bad. It wasn't They weren't far off, but it's just kind of like, okay, can you translate that fun and festivity stuff to podiums and wins? And right about now, I don't see it. So I don't know what they need to do to get everybody on the same page, put the focus on this is where we need to go, or just like you said, to scrap everything and be like, okay, you guys play around too much. This guy's pissed off for whatever reason because he's not getting what he wants. And then Rins is just kind of like, I want to race.
Yeah. It sounds just like him. I'll say that. I do think that Quartararo may need to go talk to like a Rafael Nadal, like a Djokovic, like a Michael Jordan, people who had to get over adversity and deal with the tough times, right? Because it's all when you grow up winning, you don't know what it's like to lose. You don't know what it's like. It's different when you grow up losing and you have to learn how to win. You know what I'm saying? But when you've been winning and all of a sudden you're taking L's, you got to learn how to process that and deal with that. And I think you look at Djokovic, he had to get to the point where he had to even break down his diet to be able to beat Nadal and be able to beat Federer. Michael Jordan had to beef up and get stronger to be able to deal with the Pistons and go through the Pistons and all that stuff. So, I think for Quartararo, where he's been up there and now he's going through his adversity, it's a lot of it is mental because, if you in any sport, if you trust the process, eventually you get there. If everybody buys into that process and everybody's moving as a team, usually that's the team that wins, that everyone that's buying in and making sure they're on tight. So, what are your thoughts, Tyson, for Quartararo, for Yamaha? Is it just let's get ready for 27 and just get through the year? It sounds like Quartararo might leave, and we'll talk a little bit after this about the rumor stuff like that. What are your thoughts on where Yamaha is? Is Jack Miller and Toprak doing too much showboating? Listen. If you got fans, you got to keep them happy. And if they buying your merch and their sponsors are happy, they're happy even if you're not winning. So sometimes you got to be the Harlem Globetrotters. What are your thoughts, Tyson?
I was just going to say that. I was thinking, I can't remember if this is true or not, but I'm pretty sure circus clowns originally became a thing to entertain the crowd while the next act or animals were being prepped to come out. And so that's Pramac this year. They're part of the celebration committee at Yamaha, and their job is to ensure team chemistry and morale for Quartararo, and that's it. Yamaha is going to need to throw a lot of pizza parties, and I don't know. This is corporate. Well, it's not corporate America, so they may back up a truck for him, but we'll see.
Yeah, it sounds like they did the last couple of years. If the rumors are true.
If they aren't true, then he's an idiot and should have left sooner. So,
right.
As you guys said, I don't really know if he has an option. We can wait for rumors on where he's going to go. But yeah, from what I've heard, preliminary for the season is that they've lost some of their quali pace with going to the V4, which was kind of all they had going for them last year. In which we saw that Quartararo could blast his way in the first lap or two, based off his good quality, stay with the top three, and then just hope the rest of the guys chew through their tires and start dropping back before he chewed through his tires, and then stick with it that way. And I don't know if that's going to be possible this year. I'm sure some rain and some adverse track circumstances will give the Pramac boys some good opportunities to get some points, but yeah, it's not going to be a fun year for any of them. I like Toprak. He did an amazing job. Look at where the BMWs are in World Superbike right now. Meanwhile, Toprak would have been hugging Bulaga's bumper if not being in front. But he's going to have a rough year this year too. But this is probably the best situation for him though, because if he was on a Ducati, rolling up in 13th, 14th place because he's getting used to the bike, and the rest of the Ducatis are in the top 10, he would have been out in a year.
Right.
And Pramac, just chilling with Miller, 20th to 15th right there. No one's going to notice him. He's going to be, happy-go-lucky, almost like, I feel like Danny Ricciardo kind of deal on the grid, just like, cool, chill guy. And then hopefully he can figure his stuff out and figure out the bike and actually race it like we know he can. But I doubt it will turn out that way for him, but I hope it does.
Yeah, I agree. And, I was talking about this, because there's a lot of, over the course of history, there've been a lot of World Superbike champions that's gone into MotoGP. And not a lot of them, to my knowledge, I don't know if any has won a championship, much less a gang of races.
I don't think so. Was Colin Edwards the most successful World Superbike racer?
Biaggi came in and got, not Biaggi, Bayless came in and got on the podium. Edwards got on the podium, but he never won. But he got on the podium a bunch of times.
I know Speeds, but he didn't do much. He was out pretty quick.
That came over. There's some others that came over, but it's Crutchlow came over, right?
He was Super Sport when he came over.
Oh, he's Super Sport, yep. And so it's not easy. And I know last year I think a lot of people kind of drank the juice of what he was doing in World Superbike to think like, oh yeah, he's just gonna come and smack up these MotoGP guys because clearly they're not quick.
And from what I was reading, a lot of the stuff that he's doing on that bike is just because maybe not just because, but a lot of reason has to do with those frames just aren't as stiff as the MotoGP ones are. And then you get onto the MotoGP, they don't do any of those sorts of things because it's just all of that force is going directly into the front tire. Whereas if you have less stiff frames, some of that force will twist the frame instead of going directly into the tire.
Right.
So, or the swing arm or, whatever, the triple trees, the forks, all that, all that goes into, the rigidity of your chassis. But
Yeah. And he'll probably will get it. I don't think he's gonna get it in the first year. Bastianini, we see we've seen the guys over the course of the last 5 years when they jump on a new bike. That some people struggle for a year, some people struggle for a couple of years, some people struggle a lot longer and never figure it out.
Look at Raul Fernandez. He struggled for 4 years, 3-4 years now, and he won a race this year or last year.
Exactly. And that's fortunate because, Ike Lugono didn't get that opportunity. Gardner didn't get that opportunity. Sam Lowe's didn't get that opportunity on the Aprilia when he came in. All these guys that did 1 year MotoGP and got pushed out. You know what I mean?
Win bought him 4 more years. I was like, he's gone this season or next season. And then he won that race. And I was like, no, he's gonna be here for another 3 more years. 4 more years,
I think he did the Gian Antonio because the same thing. Digio would have if he didn't start winning Grassini, he was going to be out of MotoGP as well. And then he started winning, and look where he's at now. He's getting the factory bike over Morbidelli, and Morbidelli was a much better rider than him in Moto2. And so we do see that, and I'm happy for Raul. I think
he's got some issues.
Yeah, I think Raul came into MotoGP too soon. I know when you're called, you got to go, but he came in with Remy, and I don't think he was ready at that age. And he only did 1 year in Moto2, right? And so I mean, I'm happy for him because I think he's a talented rider, and I'm glad to see it working out now and stuff like that. Yeah. Well, let's get into the rumor mills. I've seen on social media that contracts are already signed. If it's to be told, it's true. Acosta's already signed. Bagnaia is already signed. Martin is already signed. Quartararo is already signed. For 27, because everybody got a seat for 26, obviously. Let's start with the first one. Acosta going to Ducati. Does that make sense for Ducati to get rid of their 2-time champion for a non-race winner MotoGP rider?
No. No.
Certainly not the loyal choice.
and you know me, I'm not a huge Ducati fan. I mean, I love the manufacturer, but to do that, it'd be like that. I'm not a gambler either, but that is a huge gamble to put somebody in that, not just that position, to be like, okay, you've barely won any races. We've got a 2-time champion here. I mean, who has more? No. What
are your thoughts, Tyson?
I can see both sort of sides of the coin. There's pros and cons to, should they have done it? Should they have not have done it? I don't know. It's tough. Like, I like Ben Yai, especially with his performances in testing. I mean, we'll see how the season goes, but it looks like they figured it out. And I think I actually heard that the issue that everyone was having on that 26 bike was the whole shot device. They wanted to keep that under wraps, and then eventually Alex let it leak, and then Pecco let it leak, and here we are. But it seems they figured that out, and he's back to his form. So it could be like a huge fumble for them. I think this is going to be one of those decisions where it'll be written in hindsight, where sometimes they'll make a choice like signing Marc Marquez. Like when they signed Marc Marquez over Jorge Martin, like, did anybody really question that? Like, I wasn't questioning that.
I did.
You did?
Yes, 100%. And
it's Marc Marquez.
And I don't care. I felt this about when you haven't won a championship since Casey Stoner, and this guy gives you 2 in a row. He's your god. Come on. I mean, he
won 2 in a row without Mark.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it don't matter. I mean, Mark got to show up. You got to show up, bro. You got to show up. You know what I'm saying? Ain't my fault you didn't show up. I didn't get you drunk.
Mark is hobbling to his bike every day in the early 2020s with no leg, no arm.
and don't get me wrong, I get it from a business standpoint. But I would have kept Bastianini and Pecco, and because the Ducati is winning the champ, it doesn't matter who's on the Ducati. They were going to win the championship the past 4 years, like they did, and they're probably going to win next year. It doesn't matter who's on it, right? They didn't need Marc Marquez to win a championship because they were going to win it.
But that's not the choice that they make.
I know that.
Make the choice on who do I think should win it. Who do I know is going to win it on my motorcycle? They could not afford for Mark to go to Aprilia. Like if Mark went to Aprilia, I could see him winning the championship last year. Like it may not have been as dominant of a season, but I definitely think he probably would have won it.
Yeah, and this is where the loyalty come in, because I think they should have been loyal to Pecco, and I think they should have been loyal to Martin because Martin bought them a championship. And it is a gamble. So listen, and I'll go back to basketball. Kobe stayed with the Lakers. Jordan stayed with the Bulls. Patrick Ewing stayed with the Knicks and blah blah blah, right? And that's cool to see. Like, what I'm saying? There's something to that, and I get it. Numbers run, and there's a difference between the person that started a company versus the shareholders that bought the company. You know what I'm saying? So I get it, but I do think that, like, from fans watching it and young kids coming up and parents of young kids watching it and seeing it, it sticks with me. Like, damn, bro, like Ducati, they had 8 bikes on the grid. There was going to be a Ducati that won. They had 6 bikes on the grid. There's going to be a Ducati. You're going to sell more bikes, right? But at the same time, Marquez was shitting on you on that Honda for so many years and disrespecting the Ducati for so many years that, like, why would you put this dude on a Ducati?
Because they didn't want it to happen again. They already experienced it in the late 2010s.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's all. It'd be one thing if they weren't winning with these guys, right? If they weren't winning with these guys, it's a no-brainer. But it's just kind of like, bro, like, these guys had it. They had it. You let Marquez sit on that Honda. And don't get me wrong, and I will also say this. I think if Marquez was still on a Honda, he might have had a good chance to win it last year because of how Mir and how Luca did. I think that Mark could have won or be second or third in the championship, if not winning it last year on a Honda, just based on how the Honda did. And if we want to say Marquez is the alien, and if these guys were able to do what they did on the Honda last year, I think Marquez would have knocked it, would have brought it across and finished it last year. So I also think that.
I think he would have probably came third in the championship if he was on a Honda. I don't think it probably would have been second. But like I said, I remember.
Listen, man. Listen. Marquez won by like 200 points In that Honda, he could have lost 150 points and still won the championship because the rest of the other riders didn't have the numbers.
And like I said, that's when he go into the alien syndrome. It's just kind of like there's nobody in there like an alien like that, like him anymore. Yeah. So it's kind of like put him almost on anything. Put him on a freaking bicycle. He's gonna win something.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, but I mean, Marquez is here now, and he's on a Ducati, and love him or hate him. It's not. And I'll say for me, it's not like I don't hate him. I just don't like what Ducati did. I think they should have. I would have kept my guys that I wanted with. And you say that with Pat Riley, you know what I'm saying? You see with certain coaches and stuff like that, they keep the guys, even though they know they're better, because there's some things that people can do that it may not show up on the stats. And I'll leave it there. So let's move on to the other rumors. So Costa might replace Bagnaia. Quartararo might go to Honda. Does that make sense for Quartararo?
It's the only choice, really.
I mean, he can take a satellite job and go to Grassini.
Pull the Marquez move.
And pull Marquez.
Yeah, he can pull Marquez, right?
And then replace Marquez when Marquez leaves.
And for 1 year, he can do a 1 year deal with Marquez with Grassini. And
so you think Alex would be good with Yamaha then?
No, so continue with the rumor. It sounds like Alex Marquez might be going to KTM.
That's also what I heard.
so there's a seat available.
I've also heard that it's not been released yet, but Pecco has all but pretty much signed for Aprilia.
Yeah, exactly.
That deal is done.
And yep. And if I was Pecco, I would too, based on what Ducati's doing, because y'all doing too much.
Him and Bez together, I think, should be actually a very solid competitive pair.
Yeah. I agree.
I think Ducati's not doing enough for Pecco. Not say he's going to abandon shit, but for him to go to Aprilia, I think that would be a smart move.
Oh, come on, man. Like, listen, man, I won 1 and 2 for you, and ain't nobody won since Casey. Like, come on. I hate to say this. When we look back at it, we're going to remember Pecco's. We're going to talk about Pecco's 1 and 2 because he killed the drought. You know what I'm saying? Martinez for the Red Sox and Pedro for the Red Sox. 04, like they're gonna live forever. It's not the fifth one they got or whatever one they got. It's that first one as after that drought. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. So I mean, if you're not gonna give me not say a good machine or something like that, but if you don't give me the kudos that I deserve, then all right, I'm out.
Yeah. No, I which is unfortunate. I mean, it's motorcycle racing, and I think we'll see because if Pecco does go to Aprilia, we'll see if he can win on a different bike, and it's a different challenge and so forth. So yeah, Pecco going to Aprilia is a rumor. So where does that leave Rins, Mir?
Rins is out for sure.
Martin, right? Because where does Martin go if Pecco comes to Aprilia? If he goes to Honda, it's kind of like, you got the corner suite. Now you're on the third floor. Now you're in the basement. I'm trying to tell you something.
I don't know if he's going. Either one of those going to have a seat with the VR 4016. So I mean, there's not a lot of, like I said, there's not a lot of space left to go to that you can actually really be either competitive with, or at least be able to not design, but kind of focus on building up, like they said, LCR Honda, and kind of getting them back up to where they need to be at. So, I mean, there's very little to go through.
Yeah. Go ahead. Oh, I thought you was going to say something, Tyson. Yeah, so I think it'll be interesting the end of 2027 because last year we only lost how many lost? We only lost a couple of riders last year for MotoGP. I think this
3, if I remember right.
Samcat and
Oliver Riviera, blah blah blah. His name. There was somebody else.
Samcat Cantra.
Yeah, Samcat Cantra, Miguel Oliveira.
And that's it.
The third one?
No, we only have 2 rookies, man.
Okay. So yeah.
Yeah.
I mentioned about Samcat last year, just kind of like he's a great rider, but he's constantly in like last place. Let's replace him.
Yeah. No, which is unfortunate. He's with Honda in World Superbike, but him and Jake Dixon, the boys are broken up. So it was a tough outing for Honda because both their factory guys are recovering right now. Okay.
He was a good rider, but like I said, he should have been replaced years ago for someone who can give them more feedback and give them a little bit more knowledge, track knowledge, and race skill knowledge, so that they can actually, progress that motorcycle, because they haven't really progressed it besides Johan.
Listen, man, the year before that was Taka Nakagami. Sam Cat only did 1 year, man.
and even Taka was doing like 3 or 4 years, but he was sort of kind of in the back.
He did like
15 places and back and back again. He only got like 5 points in the whole freaking season. It's kind of like, okay, yeah, we need to put him.
I mean that was more of I think that was more marketing for the Japanese fan. And I know with Ayagura growing up per year, I think they wanted him to go on that Honda, and he kind of broke that. And then since some cat didn't do well, that's why Indonesia is not on LCR this year, right? Because they don't have a Japanese rider, which is unfortunate. I mean, when you look at it, there's no Americans in MotoGP, and we'd love to get another American in MotoGP. So it's not just the Japanese or the Australians or the Turkish. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it'll be nice to have more nationalities in MotoGP. There's not a lot of slots. That's the downside. And but it does help when you got a bunch of people around you. So if you look at Top Rock, that's a market that's untapped, and so there's a lot of money for MotoGP there. The Australian market, there's a lot of money for MotoGP. Same thing with the South Africa. So I think you'll see these riders stay in MotoGP more so because of what they bring to the sport than actually what they finish on in a race, which is
absolutely true.
I agree.
Yeah. It is what it is. Before we get out of here, guys, so we're doing this Be Forever Cool Championship. It's points based. At the end of the year, you guys get a trophy whoever wins. We're going to add up the points. You get to pick, 3 riders each round. This is, fantasy football or fantasy motorcycle racing without the technology. So you pick 3 riders. Where they finish on the grid, those are the points you get. It's pretty straightforward. We'll start. If you need some time to think of who you think is going to finish, I'll name my 3. Since I'm, I guess I get to play with my points, but I kind of have to keep it the same because that's all. I guess I might have to abstain actually from this. I already gave my 3, so I'll be double dipping. It'll be like double rounds for me, and everyone else got single rounds. So I gotta pull myself out of this. But all right, that'll keep the numbers right. So yeah. So all right, we'll start with if you guys need a little more time, I'll do a little public service announcement. Please go ahead.
I was gonna say, so is this like the podium?
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter if they get the podium; it's just where they finish in the race. So if they finish,
so like if I guess Top Rock gets 20th and he gets 20th, I get points. But if he gets 19th, I don't get any points.
No. You just pick 3 riders, and then where they finish on the points list or non-points list is what you get. So if you pick Mark and he wins the race, you get 25 points. Okay. If you pick Pecco and he got a DNF, you get no points.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, cool. So, while you think about that, I want to thank everyone for commenting. I really appreciate what's been happening. All the followers, all the subscribers. Some of us are setting us straight when we misspeak and stuff like that. Really appreciate all that. Definitely check out BeForeverCool.com. We got some cool stuff coming down the pipeline. We're doing this fun that's kicking off the first week of Bike Week for it's called the Be Forever Cool rider fun, essentially racer fun, and we're gonna be supporting one racer in Motor America this year in their endeavors, and we're asking you guys to donate $1 and support the cause. And some of that proceeds will go to a rider. We are going to announce the rider who we've selected this year, the week of Daytona. So definitely keep it locked for that. As you guys know, racing is very expensive at the highest level in MotoGP, World Superbike, and Motor America. It's crazy, and we've been talking about this for years on the show, where there's a lot of fast guys and gals, but they can't get on a racetrack because they just can't afford it. So we're hoping to be able to contribute to their racing fund and hopefully keep them racing in Motor America in this case. And if it's successful, you never know. So go to BeForeverCool.com, check out the website, learn more about it. It only costs you $1. The motorcycle community is large enough that donating $1 is easy enough, and we can support someone, and hopefully they can be successful in Motor America. So very excited for that. On that note, guys, you want to pick your riders that you think is where they're going to finish. It doesn't matter where they're going to finish, but pick your 3 riders.
I know my 3.
Go for it.
Alex.
Okay.
I've got for my number 2. I still love him to death, Franco.
Okay.
And my numero 3 is going to be Mark.
Okay. All right.
I'm throwing a wild card now. Because I know Jorge is going to be up there. Jorge is going to be up there somewhere. I'm just hoping that he doesn't break himself. So my wild card is Martin.
All right, we can only pick 3, so realistic. Yeah, I appreciate the wild card. It's only wild card in name, not important.
It's an honorable mention, not a wild card.
I see you trying to get
my 2.5. My 2.5 is Jorge Martin.
No doubt. What do you got, Tyson?
I'm gonna go with the Marquez brothers and then Bezzecchi.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty much it for a lot of the guys. Is Marquez, Bez.
We're going to see a lot of those podiums.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. I full disclosure, I pick Bez, Pecco, and Acosta this round.
Interesting.
So
I see how it is. This is an actual Rossi fan here. You can't let it go all these years later. That's what it is.
Is that what that is? I did not look at it that way at all. Wow. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm the dude disguising the dude, playing the dude.
Oh my God.
Next to the dude, around the dude.
Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, from the actual, I don't remember what they called him, but the black guy. What was his name? He had like the booty sweat drink or whatever.
Tropical Thunder.
Yeah. Well, the actor came out and was joking around, and he was like, "Dude, I swear to God, RDJ was in character the entire time." He'd like walk in, be like, "What's up, brother?" He's like, "Who are you talking to, man? We're not brothers."
Yeah. He was like that. He did say that took a lot out of him, but he also said he was young at the time and he appreciated it a lot more now. But he was just like, they got me to a place where they got what they wanted out of him in the acting. So it's pretty wild. No, I still like that movie, man. It's one of my favorites. Like I quote it all the time.
Hilarious! Oh my goodness, hilarious!
All right, man. I think we got a good list, and apparently I'm a Rossi fan, and so I didn't know that.
You already knew that.
Your selection spoke for itself.
Right, I already knew that. I just confirmed it. That's what it is. I just confirmed it.
It's 2 choices. He either loves Rossi or hates winning. And I don't think he hates winning, so he must love Rossi.
Okay. Well, I do think that Bez can win. I do think that Acosta can win. And if Pecco finds his way, he'll win too. So, I think
Acosta can win with what evidence?
If everybody else falls.
There we go. That would work.
Let me go back to it.
People falls, Acosta can win.
Let me go back to it. I almost had you.
You win by an inch or a mile. Winning is still winning.
Canada's learning that this week.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. It's been good for the U.S. Listen, I mean, between Russia and between the Canadians in hockey, they've been kicking our butt for a while. So it's definitely.
Like, this is our fourth sport that we kind of care about, and we still compete with you guys at the similar level.
Right. Oh, that's fair enough.
Could you imagine if like basketball players or football players, like LeBron is an athlete, a specimen of a man. That dude actually like started skating at 3 years old.
Yeah.
These other countries would be done.
Well, I get off topic a little bit. I Show Speed. Young kids watching I Show Speed, they're gonna sit here and go like, "Oh, I can play all the sports."
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, and be somewhat in the top percentile. Like, I Show Speed is showing some of these guys and women when he's competing with them. It's just kind of like, here's a kid that has no. I mean, I'm sure he's training, right, because they got a lot of money, but for the most part, he's challenging all these people. And he's doing fairly well. So it's just like the young kids seeing that now, sitting here like, oh yeah, all the things I want to do, I'm gonna go do it. Because I hear stories of like Randy Moss playing basketball and football, and some of these guys that play football, basketball, and baseball. Now they're gonna add like 3 more sports to it.
Yeah,
I didn't know that Randy Moss was actually playing basketball before he started playing football.
Oh yeah. They were
like a professional level basketball player before he played football.
Yeah, him and Jason Williams went to the same high school, and Jason Williams was the point guard, and he was also the QB in West Virginia.
I did find out about that. Yeah, I did find out about J-Dub, White Chocolate.
Yeah. So no, listen, I mean, but I think we all know people like that or like that, and that are good at a few things, and So we hope to get more people being able to play at the high level and stuff like that. But it's going to be crazy in the future.
Definitely so. I agree.
No doubt. All right, man. I want to thank everyone for coming on. My name is Rex 45. It's the Be Forever Cool podcast. I want to thank Jordan Long from Jordan Long Racing, Tyson as well for coming on. Peace.